Hello, folks. Welcome back to our channel. My name is Martin, and on the other side is my best friend Norbert. Hi,
Hi,
Norbert.
folks. Hi, Martin.
Uh, this day we brought you something special. So, in case you don't know us, we are two very passionate photographers, and this this video, we are speaking a little bit about why we actually started this channel. Why are we doing this? Why bother at all? And so for us, photography is not just a vacation activity. For us, photography somehow became a lifestyle activity. So, like a really intense hobby. So, one might go on the golf course and really likes to play golf in his spare time. Uh, Especially for me and Norbert, we have different daytime jobs still. So we're not doing, in this sense, we're not professional photographers, meaning earning money for our living with photography. We have different jobs, but we use photography to balance our life and to have what we call life. We are lifestyle photographers. And so in this video, we want to talk about this and not just for our sake. So we want to share this and want to see maybe that's also something for you. We're talking a little bit about how we became lifestyle photographers, what resources are necessary, so much how money do you have to spend to start, to end, and everything in between, and maybe give you some ideas for to start for images and photography and for taking pictures. So I bought my first camera in maybe 1991, and I was still a teenager. It was in the end of my school era, and today, I can't even really remember why I bought it. Maybe it's just out of curiosity. At that time, you have to imagine there was no Amazon, and you had to go to a store and to look for equipment and then ask for advice, maybe because there was also no internet, my dear young followers.
Unbelievable.
And
Unbelievable. No internet. Yeah.
totally different times. So I went there and I went home with a Canon EOS. I don't know and I can't remember. Later on in my 20s, I was really traveling a lot. And I mean off the beaten tracks and uh, off-site package holidays. So I have been to various African countries at that time, Botswana, so mostly southern parts of Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Zambia, South Africa, and most of the time, not, as I said, package holidays, but really off the beaten tracks by car and through the bush. And I wanted to document my travel, so that's what I did. At that time, it was color slides. And in one of our former videos, I have been talking about selling those on Getty Images. And they are quite special since they're from 1996 to 1999. And that's the next step. And this also brought me further up in my capabilities as a photographer. Then I stopped traveling for quite some time, and maybe 2 to 3 years ago, I thought it might be a good idea to try to sell images on stock platforms, which I did. I started that, as I said, 2 to 3 years ago. And I quickly realized, oh, heck, there is not the way to become a millionaire that soon. I have to imagine you get paid maybe several cents, euro cents, or maybe 1 or 2 euros. If you're lucky, depends on who's buying the image with which subscription. So, and that left me, since I'm a software engineer and I need to balance my life. It's a mentally very demanding job. And so that's how I became a lifestyle photographer. I take my equipment in my spare time. I have quite a heavy bag. I currently carry around two cameras with various lenses. And I often go into the woods and look for wildlife, mostly birds currently, and insects, depending on that, a little bit of landscape photography. And I'm doing this just to clean out my head, to mm, uh, I usually get a lot of headaches when I do hard stuff in my daytime work, and going outside with my camera, not thinking of anything. This helps me to relax and to calm down. And so that's why I consider myself a lifestyle photographer. And I usually carry around my phone, and I have a small, cheaper camera that I carry around with me for city photography and whatever comes along. So it's part of my daily routine to check out what's around and how do I do it. And so that's what drives me. And so I'm passing on the ball to Norbert, how he became a lifestyle photographer.
Thank you, Martin. So, listening to your very interesting road to lifestyle photography, I recognizing we have some parallels, but not everything. Even we ended up at the same place. So my let's say love for photography started when I was a very very small child, so in kindergarten age. And thanks to my mother. So when we spent holidays together, my family, my mother had this old Zenit camera. We recently did a video where this camera was the object uh, focus, and that was very fascinating for me. So I learned in very early ages the different how to say lights scenarios and how to use. I learned this maybe a little bit too uh, motivated. I did not learn, but I experimented around and saw the results then on the photos.
Yeah, we get it.
Um, yeah, and photography sparked something in me that time. Hmm. And then entering my teenage years, so I hardly drifted away from this interest. Of course, like many teenagers, you might have some other interests than photography. And this let's say passion for photography entered the background during my teenage years. But when I started to work and I had one of my first salaries, I decided, okay, let's give it a try. And at that times, I bought it was a Minolta Dynax 8000. mm, was quite expensive. So during
Oh,
that time, it
yes.
was
Hmm.
1991 or 1992, something like that. Yeah, but how to say, I don't want to say it was waste of time, but I still had some different interests than photography. So this nice piece of technique ended up in the basement and yeah, done. But then after this phase, let's say phase start with the DSLR, after almost 2 decades, then the I called it the smartphone spark that came over me. And for me, it was more or less very identical what you told before. Why I'm doing that and why I started to make pictures with my mobile was just to do something different from the daily routine. Because I'm working in the automotive industry, so I always work for automotive suppliers, not directly at the OEM, but in the supply chain. Um, and yeah, I don't want to say it's stressless. Yeah, so from time to time, you really have headaches and all the stuff coming over you the whole week. And at a certain point, I just ran out of the office, and that was during my times when I lived in Vienna. And I ended up at the Danube. And I took my cell phone and I just made some pictures of seagulls flying around there without any intention. I just thought, hey, this might look nice. And I took my mobile and did some pictures. And looking at those pictures, then I thought to myself, wow, not bad, just for doing it with the mobile. And at a certain point, I always, yeah, the mobile you have always with you, and I just started to make pictures from everything that came around. And then what really brought me back to photography was an old camera, also it was a Sony 350 that my mother gave me as a present because she didn't use it anymore, and said, "Okay, Norbert, do you want to have this camera? Uh, if you want it, feel free. If not, then I will sell it." So I have no use for that anymore. And uh, I was lucky because she also had a few lenses. So it was a macro, it was a tele. I have this stuff here with me. And then I tried to make some experiments. It was always self-educating, so I never did a course or training or something like that.
That's the fun
And
of it,
yeah,
and part of
yeah,
the fun of it.
and yeah, and really with this Sony, I started to learn a little bit more the technical side of photography. Yeah, so uh, looking at the right aperture, looking at the right shutter speed, and learning what's the difference, also the ISO settings and so on. And then came for me really this key point where some friends of mine told me, "Hey, the photos you're doing to look good. Can you please make a picture of my family and myself, or please make a photo of my car?" And these things happened. I thought, okay, yeah, that was very motivating for me.
Hmm.
And then came the next big step. So I'm jumping now 2 years later. I decided, okay, to create myself a small homepage and start to sell my pictures also on these platforms like you're doing that, iStock and Getty and all these things. And I sold my first picture, even it was for dollar cents. Yeah, that really gave me a super motivation because somebody's honoring what I'm doing.
Yes.
Even it's just for 10 cents. And yeah, so I came into this topic, and what I also recognized, it completely frees my mind from this daily routine and this daily stress. That brings me back to the lifestyle topic, yeah? Because if you go out with the eyes of a photographer, you see the world completely different. So if you look at all these people running around outside, uh, just like zombies, yeah, they're running around, not recognizing what's going on the left and on the right side, on the street, or even in nature. Um, this is something I really cannot understand. But why I cannot understand, because I'm seeing the world with the eyes of a photographer now,
Photograph.
and
Hmm.
and I'm doing that on a daily basis. So from time to time, my family gets a little bit nervous because they always have a mobile or camera with me and making some pictures. Because I'm more like in landscapes and nature, not in not
Hmm.
in people. Yeah, and then for me the next big step was after I had my two Sonys, so it was the 350. Then I bought myself on the used market a 450 for very less money. We can talk about that a little later. And then I bought myself a modern camera. It was the Lumix, and yeah,
Yeah, you
this
have
is the
already,
camera.
so to speak, proven that you are a lifestyle photographer.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And
maybe it's a good idea if we start to talk about a little bit about equipment. So
Yeah,
We said, what's in there for you, our dear viewers? Um, how much resource, how much money do you need to take to use to get started? And so you already had a good bridging the gap from Norbert, and I know he has also the cameras at hand. So maybe you want to wrap this up a little bit, maybe from a pricey point of view how you started,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then I
of course. Mm. So I hope you can see that what I'm showing now. If not, so this is the one where, let's say, it started with. That's the Sony Alpha 350. That was the less expensive one because I got it for free from my mother. But but only 2 months later, I found this one that was the 450. Uh, yeah, a little bit more. I don't want to say high tech, but a little bit better equipped as
mm-hmm,
the 340. And I found this one on the used market for 150 euros.
mm-hmm,
And this is still my daily camera. So because I'm
yeah,
super happy, uh, I know how to use it. I can even make pictures blind because you know exactly how to find all the things. Yeah, and here the invest was really, really low. It was 150 euros. It came with a very nice lens. And
that's even a lot cheaper than I did.
yeah,
So
yeah.
with my restart, not the old analog cameras that I had, but the newer ones, the digital ones, they sorry, I made my restart with a Pentax K30. I had that for 2 years, but then the CMOS broke. I didn't use it that much, and there is an issue with the camera. If you don't use it, or if it gets old, the CMOS gets damaged, so the actual device that catches the light and then actually produces the bits and bytes for the image, that was gone. So then I bought a K70, and that was maybe in 2017. I bought it new. I bought a kit. So that's usually the body and a simple lens to it, 18 to 50 or 55, whatever they usually deliver with it. And that was, I think it was below 400 euros at that time, the whole thing. And so you have the measurement if you go on Craigslist or to your local black board where you buy stuff used. Of course, you have to look around uh, for if there's damage to the camera, and you may have to make sure that everything works fine. But there's a lot of stuff going on, so you can start with a Nowadays, it's not SLR anymore. Maybe it's already system camera, but definitely you will find an older SLR camera, single lens reflex, so still with a mirror, digital 8 to 10 years ago for let's say 200 euros, and you'll get maybe also two, three, one, two, three lenses with it. That's how you can start. Besides your telephone, which everybody has in its pocket anyway.
And just compare it if someone gets started for tennis or let's say even playing golf. The invest you have to do there to get even started, it's you cannot compare that.
Yeah, it's
No chance.
ridiculously low. It's in
Yeah.
that sense, it's ridiculously low, and you are lucky. You're living in the digital area in that sense. You buy if you're not going full frame, if you are still on Micro Four Third, or if you're on APS-C, those are the formats for the cameras, and they are lower than full frame. And if you buy a 256 gigabyte SD card. What's the cost of that? 18 euros, something like that. You
Yeah.
can do 5,000 images or 6,000 images with one card, and not like we started with 24 or 36 images on color film or color slide film. So and if you're I don't throw away my images at all. I don't bother, because for the 18 euros, if you're happy to spend time, you can delete the images you don't like, and then you can go a long way. So it's in for a hobby, it's ridiculously low for entry fee. Of course, when you go longer, and if you have developed a certain um, liking for various types of photography, there are special ones. I'm just for me, I say just astronomy photography. Then you
Yeah.
would need a telescope, etc. Of course, you can
It's a
blow it
that's
up,
a different world. Yeah.
and it's a different world. You can, of course, somehow also blow it out of proportion. But to start with a SLR camera, you get away as maybe 150, 200 euros, and you're on the safe side. Pretty sure. And if you buy a new cheap kit, 400, 500 euros, and you're done.
And that's by far enough to get started. So you don't need
Yes.
to invest thousands and thousands of euros or dollars to get a starter kit. You can do that
Yeah.
very, very small and cheap investments.
And even Norbert and I, we are not in our end game. So we are still on APS-C. We are currently quite happy with APS-C. We're not full frame. I think full frame then starts with 3,000, 3,500 euros for the body of the camera itself. And then, of course, you can really go bonkers with light strong. I don't know if in German it's Lichtstark, so a lot of light coming through the lenses. You can, of course, buy lenses that are a little bit cheaper, and of course, you can buy ones that are more expensive. But as we said, for a start, you don't have to do that. You have to start somewhere. You have to figure out what you want to do, which direction you are going, not just for photography, but how you want to incorporate it into your daily life, into your daily routine. Are you living close to some wood? Then I'm pretty sure you're more likely to go in the direction of tracking birds, finding wildlife. Whereas if you live in the city, you might go for street photography and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
And you easily can combine this activity with others like sports. So I'm personally like also riding bicycle. And most of the times when I'm out with the bicycle, I have my camera with me. What I forgot, sorry, I'm coming back. I also have another one, this small little guy here. It's a Sony Alpha 5000, and this is really fitting in every
Yes.
pocket.
Yeah.
So, and you can carry it with you all the time. And even on long bicycle rides, if you're passing by a nice spot, just
Yeah,
make a
and
short break. And
you bought this also secondhand,
yeah,
right? So, and
I bought it exactly to do it during my bicycle rides, and it was 8 euros,
ta-da!
something like that. Yeah, yeah. And it really makes good pictures, so I cannot complain. Mm.
Yeah, so
And this is
no
how
excuses there. Yeah.
exactly. And if you once get into this, it's really like, yeah, for me it's like a drug, yeah, on a positive way, because I mentioned before, so you see the world with different in different angles, not just black and white. You also see the shades in between, and
Yep.
this is what for me it's all about. Yeah, to get rid of the daily stress. Yeah, because if somebody would ask me why are you doing that, I'm doing that because I want to do something that really makes me happy, that's satisfying for me. To clean my brain from the daily stress. I'm not saying that my job isn't okay for me. I like that a lot, but I have to do something different.
Yep.
And for me, that's the perfect way.
Yeah, for me is similar. And also, for example, I dislike sports for its own sake. So I'm not physical in that sense. I don't like to go outdoors just for the sake of going outdoors. So I take my photography, and then I can also spend the time that I want if I am in the wood, and if I have a nice situation there, if I have a nice surrounding there, then I stay there for quite some time. On the other hand, my equipment is quite heavy, so I never leave house. Maybe my backpack is 8 to 10 kilograms, so I carry my burden, ha ha ha, and that's the things that I take out of it, and I don't rush. So I really like to go into the woods and track birds down and listen to the noises around me. To I don't say to get in a meditative state, but to really calm down and get calm into myself. And then you will realize you will also hear, not just see, and also hear different things, and a new world will open up to you. Well, the birds are around you anyway. It's just a question if are you aware of them and of how many are you aware of them. In my case, so for someone else, it might be entirely different. I'm just talking of what kicks me, what drives me.
So I just have to say, as a photographer, you have the second look. There's a good reason why our channel is called like that,
Yes.
because yeah, you see the how to say the nice and good things, not only dirty streets or stormy weather. I also like going out at thunderstorms, yeah, because I really like these heavy clouds and all the stuff to make photographs. So,
Yep.
yeah, and you don't even need to buy a camera. You can start with a cell phone. That's how it worked here. And I think we have
Yep.
some afterwards. We have some good examples to show you what can happen with a cell phone.
Yeah, I think there is no need to go into more detail for the equipment. Um, we have also grown to this fact that we have a little bit more expensive equipment. As we said, there's still room above us and to the top. But for a start, I think we covered that. And if you have questions where you want to start, then leave us some comments below, and we are happy to get back to you and give us our point of view on that. We don't intend to do unboxing videos or stuff like that. There's plenty of that stuff on the internet around. We intend to stay focused on what drives us on compositions and how you get a better photographer in the ways of doing, integrating it into your life and into your spare time. And what we would have brought you, or what we brought as well, is some basic images, or how do I say, all the images we show you right afterwards, they are done by, they are done with mobile phone. So that's what I had. So this is my equipment since this web page has come on, and it's still open. So my Pentax K70 is from 2016, and I own a Canon R7. That's relatively recent, but you also see that's at some later time. But that's what I not want to be stuck with. I want to stick with the photos from Norbert. So he made a collection. So he made a photo of his collection of uh, old and newer cameras with a
Yeah,
lot of
this is my
lenses.
my gear I'm working with. So that's what
But
I'm
even
using more or less on a daily
but
basis.
even this composition, this is all done by mobile phone. We said
Yeah.
we just bring you just photos from our mobile phones. So there are no excuses. Go out and start taking some pictures.
Everybody can do that.
Like
So as you said, there are no
like this
excuses.
one. That
Yeah.
is. I think that's of course it's winter. It shows some frost and snow, and I'm pretty sure you did this on one of your cycling trips in the morning, right?
Absolutely, you're right. You're absolutely right. So
For
that was
example.
one of the examples. As you said, no excuses. You can just throw your mobile and push the trigger.
Maybe that we say maybe a sentence to each of the images. How did you do this one? When
Yeah. So
was that?
this one really happened by chance. So it was winter as well. So in my region here, the winters are not that cold normally. There are also still leaves on the trees, but that was middle of December on the way to a Christmas market, and
Mm.
I just liked the composition. It was more Halloween scenery than a Christmas scenery because it
Mm-hmm.
was foggy and this nice yellow light. And I
Mm-hmm.
just wondered, oh, I forgot to bring my camera with me, but I have the mobile here. So let's
Mm-hmm.
make a picture. And this is how this one happened. Yeah, and yeah, this is basically one of my favorite photo spots. Uh, that was close before sunrise, also in December.
Yep.
Uh, of course, you cannot see it here, but it was freezing cold. And also did not bring my Sony with me during that uh, bicycle ride, but I had to
Es-
stop there. And
Especially for landscape, you get with the mobile phone, you get away for quite some
yeah,
time. Landscape is easy to
perfect,
miss with mobile
perfect,
phone.
perfect.
Yeah,
Uh,
like also this
yes,
one I see.
yeah, you see, that's a few minutes later,
Mm,
the vineyard in the front, and
yeah.
before, of course, there's the lake, and in the background, the sun coming up. So these
Mm-hmm.
are these very, very special moments for me. Uh, yeah, you completely can forget all the noise of the daily life and these things.
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh,
yeah, this is
food photography. Yeah, of course.
my famous pancake picture. Yeah. Um, yeah, by the way, um, the pancakes I made by myself, but the uh, other stuff around, like the banana and all this chocolate sauce, and that was my daughter. So she
Yeah, okay. Greetings to the
made it
cook.
look more beautiful. And this was very
Ah, she's
spontaneous. I remember I told her, look, wait 2 seconds, do not eat it, have to make a picture.
yeah.
Yeah, it was also done by mobile phone.
Yep.
And also I
So
liked it a lot because it shows the perspective, what's normally not so easy with a mobile.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but these are my daily routines and daily photo shots.
Yeah, so
And
Norbert brought
this
some.
one, Martin, this one I already sold on iStock, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Food
yeah,
photography.
yeah.
So a third of my photos that have been sold is also food photography. I don't know why. So you sit in a restaurant, and if you make an image of your food and you load it up to one of the iStock platforms, it definitely will be sold at one point in time,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. So, and you see, Norbert had some landscape photography. I, for myself, when I have been traveling, I have to go to Germany from time to time. And this, for example, is the main building of the Bremen Hauptbahnhof. And I was just going back to Austria at that time to hop on the train. And so I took this picture. And this is really, so all of those are really snapshots. You pass somewhere along, and that's also part of the joy. You get home, you bring it onto your computer, and you take a look at it and you see, oh, that's reasonable good. I like it. And maybe someone else likes it because usually, if you like it, if you really like it, somebody else likes it as well. So this is also in winter in Bremen from the harbor, and I like the lights that were going on there. And since I was in a business attire, I couldn't bring my camera in that sense. So that's also just a snapshot with my mobile phone. And actually, it's quite sharp, I think, because it's not really blurred, and I think it really did a good job for this night photography because it was winter.
Absolutely.
It was maybe 9 to 10 o'clock, something like that, and uh, so that's one. And you also mentioned your way
This
to
one's nice.
the Christmas market. So for me as well, I have been to a Christmas market and they had all of those bowls and balls hanging around between the Christmas trees, and so that's just done with the mobile phone because I think it was a trip that was very quickly organized. I did not know that we were going there, and that's really also did not bring the camera. And this is just some street photography when I walk through cities and go there. And I like the facade of this house and how it's triangular with the steep roof and the chimneys. And so these are actually really two different photos. So of course you could get away and crop this, but in this sense they are really two different images for whatever reason now. Um, but it is what it is. And also, when you pass something by and you have some fancy architecture somewhere, you can take a picture of that. And yeah, so or even if you stay somewhere in an Airbnb and there's a huge tree in the middle of some uh, I don't know how we would translate those form of living into English. Huge houses with lots of flats in there, in sort of a center. It's not actually a garden, right? So there's nothing on there. There's no benches. There's no seats going on. There's just a tree within these
I'm just wondering that this tree is
houses.
growing there.
Yeah, and well, that was fall, so it was a healthy tree. So, and I was looking out of the back window in this Airbnb and I saw this tree. And so that was fine with me. I think it's, but they maybe not the best images, but they give you just, they should only give you the idea how to get started. And I think it's also, no, another one.
This is
That's
good. This is
also,
nice.
it's also a quick snapshot with my mobile phone. And this was is in a zoo that's in the Innsbruck Alpen Zoo, and at that time I really did not have. So this image is also quite old, and I did not have the camera at that time with me at all. I think it's way past when I was there with Nevio at some time when he was much younger, and so. Also, this can happen. And actually, I think this is really quite sharp as well. So
Yeah.
maybe that's 100%. So you see, the focus is still on the eye. And of course, mobile phones, they don't have that much depth of field, but I think it's reasonable, okay, especially if it's from zoomed out. And with that said, so that's what I wanted to show you in this video. For me, that's all I wanted to tell you about it.
Yeah, and as said, there are no
Do
excuses. No excuses.
no
Somebody
excuses.
says, "I don't have a camera." So yeah, start with your cell phone you're carrying with you all the day. Just give it a try. That's our really our recommendation. Give it a try, and you will see it really, yeah, cleans your brain. And if you once have the second look, then you made it.
Yep. So that's it. Nothing to add.
Okay.
And I want to leave you with that. And if that's really something that in the slightest sense tickles your thoughts, we could at least a little bit spark your imagination, then we're happy. And maybe we sparked your imagination like that, yet you want to follow the channel. Leave us some comments. We also supply a link for videos that you want to upload and show us, and of course, to our viewers again. And so, if you want to support our channel that way, please do so. Comment, subscribe, hit the bell button. And with that said, we want to say goodbye to you and see you next week with our new video.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Take
See
care.
ya.
See ya.